Welcome back to the ACB Wrestling Talk channel, your main source for wrestling news and wrestling discussions. I'm, of course, your host, Alexis Carrillo, and it's into some wrestling talk. Now, of course, it's Friday night. If this week couldn't get any better, we have the official debut of Smackdown live on Fox, live from the Staples Center right here in Los Angeles, California. And not only is it the Fox debut of the Blue brand, but it's also being advertised as the 20th anniversary show, so it's definitely built up to be one of the biggest shows of the year, at least television-wise, for wrestling. So with that said, lots of things to talk about what's going to go down this Friday night on the Blue brand. And let's just start with what we discussed on Monday nights. Again, The Rock is going to make his return to WWE. Not for a match. Don't get too excited. He's just making a return. He's just making an appearance. That's a better way to put it. He's just making an appearance on his show, the Blue brand, Smackdown brand, the word that he coined, the word that he made famous, and most likely to bump up the ratings. And WWE really wants to put some importance into SmackDown Live during their initial phase right here in Fox. At least that's the way I view it. So obviously, The Rock is going to make an appearance. He's going to electrify the audience, electrify everybody at home, do his job, and head back to Hollywood and keep being that busy guy and the biggest movie star in the world today. So all in all, The Rock is going to entertain us as he usually does, and then he's going to leave as he usually does. Again, that's what you get with The Rock. He's very busy. He's not a full-time superstar. That's what you get. Coupled with that, the fact that you're going to have returning stars such as Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, Sting, Ric Flair, Booker T, Lita, Mick Foley, Kurt Angle, Goldberg, Trish Stratus, among many others. I don't know if they're going to hype up this new Team Hogan versus Team Flair match at Crown Jewel. I believe it's called Crown Jewel, this upcoming pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. I believe it's still called Crown Jewel. Again, not really interested in that because, again, those pay-per-views are just dream cards for the guys who are paying for those shows to take place in Saudi Arabia. So, not much to do about that show. And obviously, Team Hogan versus Team Flair was already done over 9 years ago inside Lethal Lockdown with TNA Wrestling, now Impact Wrestling. So, we'll just have to wait and see what goes down with that. We also have the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, the man herself, tagging with someone who many of us believe she would never tag with again, or possibly not in the foreseeable future. With their rivalry last year for the SmackDown Women's title and their WrestleMania main event match. Well, now Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair are forced to team because they have common enemies, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and that's exactly what they're going to do when they face off against the very first WWE Women's Tag Team Champions in Sasha Banks and Bayley. SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley, can't forget about that. So that's obviously a big type match. Sorry for that wording, still working on it. Big type match for the women's division. Again, these are the four biggest stars on the roster currently, barring Ronda Rousey, who's taking some time off. I wouldn't be surprised if she would make a surprise appearance on SmackDown Live this Friday night. We'll just have to wait and see. And again, we have the big dog Roman Reigns being wisely kept out of the title picture for now by WWE's creative team. He now has to deal with Erick Rowan. And in terms of my predictions for his match with Rowan, again, pretty simple, pretty basic, pretty predictable, but sometimes predictable is the right move and the correct way to do things. And I believe that, Reigns and Rowan are going to have their match. They're going to start. Reigns is going to get some kind of advantage, as he usually does, because he's the face of the company. He's that big of a star for the company. Luke Harper is going to make an appearance, cost Reigns the match, and they're going to start beating on Reigns. And again, another case of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and I'm most likely going to assume that Daniel Bryan is going to make an appearance and save Reigns, hesitantly, but he's going to save Reigns from the beatdown from the tag team formerly known as the Bludgeon Brothers. With that said, we've got Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon in a ladder match with their jobs on the line. Again, you would have asked me who would win this match about 2-3 weeks ago. I would have said, no problem, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens beats Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon is out of a job, and Owens gets to be on SmackDown Live and be a slightly bigger star because they'll hype him up as the man who defeated the best in the world. But with what we saw last night on NXT, Kevin Owens could lose and could end up migrating back over because apparently they're trying to build up NXT as a third brand and not just developmental. He might move over to NXT. So again, with it being live, with it being their Fox debut, they want to have people talking. They want to have people tuning in to SmackDown Live. All bets are off. If it were up to me, I'd have Kevin Owens win this match. He has to, at least in my mind, because again, I don't like the Shane McMahon character. With him not being a full-time performer. So a full-time performer in Kevin Owens should beat Shane McMahon in the middle of that ring. And finally, not to, copy The Rock, but finally, after over 15 years, we're going to have the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, have a match on WWE cable television. For the first time since his return in 2012, and this time it's going to be for the WWE Championship. Kofi Kingston defends his title against his biggest threat yet. He's beaten Kevin Owens, he's beaten Samoa Joe, he's beaten Randy Orton, a man who I thought should have gotten more of a lengthy feud and should have been Kofi Kingston's defining feud as a main event star. We didn't get that, but now it seems that, Kofi Kingston is going to, at least in my mind, going to drop the title to Brock Lesnar this Friday night on SmackDown Live. Simply put, that's just the logic of things. Kofi Kingston has had one hell of a run. And after he, gets defeated by Lesnar this Friday, the next most likely option is maybe he can make a run for a WrestleMania rematch against Lesnar and maybe build him up that way, but that's quite a bit tougher against the Beast Incarnate. And one thing WWE has to do with SmackDown Live on Fox on Friday nights, get people talking. What gets people talking? Brock Lesnar once again as WWE Champion. Not only that, and again, I don't want that, especially if he's going to be a part-timer again and almost never show up. But if you want fans to talk about SmackDown Live, then put the title on Brock Lesnar, and not only that, have him appear every single week on SmackDown Live and really establish Lesnar and SmackDown Live as the top brand in WWE, as it's assumed it's going to be for the next few months, at least going into WrestleMania, with this entire new Fox deal. So those are my predictions for this Friday night on SmackDown Live. Their highly touted debut episode on Fox, their 20th anniversary show. It's definitely going to be some exciting television to close up an exciting week of television. Not only that, but we're also gonna get Hell in a Cell on Sunday night. That's kind of been on the back burner, with it being the fact that new sets on both Raw and SmackDown Live, NXT and Dynamite, making their big time debuts on each other's networks. So big things happening for professional wrestling as October commences. We'll just have to wait and see what goes down. But again, I'm going to state this right now. I'm going to state this every single time. It's such an exciting time to be a wrestling fan, because not only do we have NXT, Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown Live, but if you're not into that big show feel, you can check out Ring of Honor, you can check out Impact Wrestling, you can check out NWA's new show on YouTube, Power, their new studio show. Plenty of wrestling to go around, plenty of options, and that just spells, good things for wrestling fans around the world. So with that said, what are your thoughts? What are your comments? And what are your predictions? What do you think is going to happen this Friday night on SmackDown Live's debut on Fox? Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions on the comment section below. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike button. That's it for me. Till next time.